It was just a little bit too frum, my mother would say, of the Borough Park, Brooklyn, ultra-Orthodox enclave she grew up in. Then she'd add how much she enjoyed sharing holidays with as many as 33 cousins who lived close by, gathering in her parents' Sadie and Barney's home or Aunt Gussie's upstairs. My Jewish communityism stems in part from the warm and conflicted recollections of my parents, Ruth and Morris Kaufman, who helped create their own enclave in the mid-50s, middle of Long Island, West Hempstead. I was their second daughter. My brother and another sister followed. From an early age, I was aware that our family straddled two worlds, not too frum in a modern Orthodox community. My father, a self-taught artist and salesman whose office was in Bohemian Greenwich Village, took us to Little Italy cafes, village art shows, jazz gigs with Oscar Brown Jr. or Harry Belafonte, and to shul every Shabbos. After reading Asher Lev, I thought, that was him. Intensely loyal to his father, he remained observant but shunned the austere Satmarish ways of his Romanian forebears. Joining a modern Orthodox shul, we were the 10th family and made the minyan, was a suitable compromise. Every Saturday morning he walked us kids 1.5 miles over the Southern State Parkway Bridge, past the scary house with the mad, rumored to be rabid dogs, leaving my mother home alone for a few hours' respite. My love-hate relationship with going to shul began here. I loved seeing my friends, but as a girl, hated sitting in the back where women couldn't hear or be heard too well. The hard metal chairs were made for squirming. The handful of women regulars were always shushing us, until one of us would bravely get up and summon the rest of us to go. We'd grab a few lollipops from kindly Mr. Shustak, the usher, before leaving the Noah's Ark-shaped sanctuary to explore the nooks and crannies that comprised the rest of the Young Israel of West Hempstead building. Our fathers didn't seem to notice or care about our absence as long as we returned for the final prayer, Adon Olam. Diagonally across busy Hempstead Avenue from the shul was our day school, Hank, Hebrew Academy of Nassau County, the first yeshiva of its kind founded on Long Island by one of my mother's 33 cousins, Rabbi Meir Fendel. Curiously, the doors were always open. There never seemed to be any adults around except for the one guy appointed in charge of Kiddush. I now realized that guy was probably a Shabbos goy, the designated non-Jew who lit the stove and performed other tasks forbidden to Shomer Shabbos Jews. Our mission was to sneak past or implore him to give us a taste of Kiddush, perhaps a piece of kugel or marble cake. This task often fell to me as I was smaller than my peers, naturally stealthy, and when spotted by the Shabbos goy guy, could exploit my relationship to the school's founding principal, my first cousin once removed. We dined in the Kiddush room, which served as the school cafeteria on weekdays. It had a sour smell and aura to it, reminiscent of pea soup. Somehow, we managed to return just in time for Adon Olam. Our fathers would take us back across the street to Hank for what would be our second Kiddush. These were not lavish affairs, but did whet our appetites for the ample lunches that would follow. Because we lived so far away, we often got invited to lunch at our friends' homes. It was fairly easy to convince our father to let us stay for the rest of the long Shabbos afternoon. Sometimes our mother would join us. Those were the days before free play was invented as what you did for 5 minutes between highly scheduled activities. Free play was all we had, especially on Shabbos, and it was grand. A permanent outdoor sukkah in one backyard became a haunted house by November. Within the restrictive boundary known as an eruv, tag, hide-and-seek, ball and board games, dance contests, Beatlemania concerts, all were fair play for our unfettered imaginations. We lived the suburban American Jewish dream of the 50s and 60s. I loved everything about going to shul except for being in shul. As a girl, there was no place for me to daven. Which brings me on a journey to the present as a member for over 25 years of Ansche Chesed, an egalitarian conservative shul. After interesting sidetracks and shedding most of my Orthodox yeshiva girl traumas, I found a community that was not too frum, but traditional enough. Ansche was a warm, worn, homey, no fashion parade kind of place that suited me, my husband, and my now grown 2 sons. The religiously in the center shul offered me a way in to pray, have an adult bat mitzvah, attend Torah study classes, and sit on an aisle seat as far from or close to the bima as I liked. How I participated was my choice and in my own voice. This is an excerpt from a longer memoir entitled My Seat on the Aisle, a memoir of growing up Orthodox and landing here.